Hi everyone, this is Giorgia. Welcome to my first video tutorial. Since this is my first tutorial, it might be a bit rough, but I'll be trying my hardest to bring out more sewing and crafting tutorials in the future, so please look forward to those. In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to add boning to garments a couple of different ways. This example here is an 18th century stay I made, but the basic principles of boning are the same. Specifically, we'll be looking at using continuous sprung steel bones. This tutorial will teach you how to sew basic boning channels and how to prepare your individual bones. So with that, let's get started. For this tutorial, you will need your roll of continuous sprung steel. In this case, I'm using 10mm steel in 0.5mm thickness, some tin snips, a permanent marker, a metal rasp or a file with a coarse grit, 2-part Araldite glue or any other high-performance adhesive, an accurate ruler, your sewing machine, the fabric of your choice, non-stretch tape like cotton twill tape, and your basic sewing essentials like pins, threads, snips, scissors, and so on. Let's begin! The first step is to measure the length of the bone that you need. Don't go all the way to the edge of your garment because you still need enough space to finish the ends. I usually leave about a 1 cm leeway on top or bottom for binding or finishing. Take your permanent marker and mark out the size that you need on the steel. Then, using your tin snips, cut the bones to their desired size. Don't forget your safety goggles when doing this. Now with the tin snips, cut off the sharp corners of the bone end. Then round the ends off using the rasp. You want smooth ends on your bones so they don't catch on any fabric and tear, but most importantly, so they don't poke you. Using your Araldite, use a tiny sparing bit to cover the raw edge of the metal. This is to seal it off from the elements, to stop rust from forming over time and staining your fabric, and to keep the edge nice and smooth. I've seen other people use cloth bandages or other temporary things, but this is just how I was taught. Don't put too much on or it won't fit through your boning channels. And there you go, a nice smooth bone ready to use. Next, it's time to prepare your channels for the boning to go through. I'll be showing you a couple of ways to do this, by using multiple layers of fabric and sewing in the channels indirectly, and also by using tape to apply the boning channels to the fabric. There are two important elements of the boning channels. First is the type of tape you use, and secondly is the fit of the channel. Because boning puts fabric under a lot of tension, you want to make sure you use something non-stretchy and sturdy. Bias tape will stretch over time, and although satin ribbon is easy to use and very accessible to find, it is lightweight and weak. I recommend using cotton twill tape. It's cheap, useful, and very strong. Perfect for using for boning channels. If you're using tape to apply the channel to fabric, make sure the ends are folded underneath so they're nice and neat and they don't snag on anything. If you're only using the fabric of your make, like a corset, you can easily just sandwich the layers together and slide the finished bone between them. The width of the boning channel is probably the most crucial part of your make. Too loose and the bone swivels, shifts and turns. Too tight and, well, you can guess what happens. When inserting your boning, you want to make the channels fitted enough so that the fabric gives a little bit of resistance. If the bones slide in too easily, they're probably a little too wide. This is so the fabric lays nice and smooth at the end and the bones don't have any chance of slipping out. Look at how pretty and clean that is. Using your ruler, measure your boning carefully, and then, using your sewing machine, try to find the best fit. I use the edge of the sewing foot as a guide, and I move my needle accordingly for the best fit. I do a few test runs at different widths to see what feels best. You want your bone to be nice and snug, but not impossible to get through. I usually find that doing the channels just a hair over the width of the bone itself works beautifully. But if your steels are significantly thicker, or your fabric is heavier and has more weight, you might need to add a little bit more room for a better fit. Without your bone in, close one end of your boning channel, making sure to backstitch a couple of stitches to lock your thread in place. After that, to finish it off, it's simply just a matter of sliding your boning into the channel and closing it off with another row of stitching at the top. For boning between fabrics, instead of using tape, just slide the bone between the layers of the fabric. If you've done everything right, the bone should sit nice and snug inside its fabric casing, and it shouldn't slip out easily at all. And there you have it! A very basic guide to adding boning to fabric. Thank you for watching my video. If you're interested in seeing more upcoming tutorials, please like, comment or subscribe to my channel, or follow me on Facebook or Instagram. Happy crafting!